Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An event that happens. An instance of something occurring. A disease of frequent occurrence. An event that happens. An event that happens. An event that happens. Presently occurring, either causally or incidentally. Technical terms are rarely occurrent in literature. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. He acted very wise after the event. A special set of circumstances. In that event, the first possibility is excluded. A phenomenon located at a single point in spacetime, the fundamental observational entity in relativity theory. Something that happens at a given place and time. The immediate proximity of someone or something. She blushed in his presence. Dignified manner or conduct. An invisible spiritual being felt to be nearby. The act of being present. The impression that something is present. He felt the presence of an evil force. The state of being present, current existence. He tested for the presence of radon. A musical part, vocal or instrumental, that supports or provides background for other musical parts. The act of accompanying someone or something in order to protect them. An event or situation that happens at the same time as or in connection with another. Something added to complete or embellish or make perfect. Wild rice was served as an accompaniment to the main dish. The act of making something different, as e.g. the size of a garment. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The act of revising or altering, involving reconsideration and modification. Pretending that something is the case in order to make a good impression. They try to keep up appearances. Formal attendance, in court or at a hearing, of a party in an action. Outward or visible aspect of a person or thing. A mental representation. I tried to describe his appearance to the police. The act of appearing in public view. The rookie made a brief appearance in the first period. The event of coming into sight. Someone who waits on or tends to or attends to the needs of another. A person who is present and participates in a meeting. Occurring with or following as a consequence. An excessive growth of bureaucracy, with attendant problems. An event or situation that happens at the same time as or in connection with another. Being present, at a meeting or event, etc. Attendant members of the congregation. Gather into a huge mass and roll down a mountain, of snow. A slide of large masses of snow and ice and mud down a mountain. A sudden appearance of an overwhelming number of things. The program brought an avalanche of mail. Serving to begin. The beginning canto of the poem. The time at which something is supposed to begin. The place where something begins, where it springs into being. The Italian beginning of the Renaissance. The act of starting something. He was responsible for the beginning of negotiations. The event consisting of the start of something. The beginning of the war. The first part or section of something. It was a dark and stormy night is a hackneyed beginning for a story. An unfortunate happening that hinders or impedes, something that is thwarting or frustrating. A swollen bruise caused by a blow to the eye. A bad reputation. His behavior gave the whole family a black eye. Make a mess of, destroy or ruin. Be in motion due to some air or water current. The leaves were blowing in the wind. An impact, as from a collision. A strong current of air. Spend thoughtlessly. Throw away. Provide sexual gratification through oral stimulation. An unfortunate happening that hinders or impedes, something that is thwarting or frustrating. Melt, break, or become otherwise unusable. An unpleasant or disappointing surprise. Show off. Leave. Informal or rude. Let's blow this place. Street names for cocaine. Be inadequate or objectionable. This blows. Forceful exhalation through the nose or mouth. He gave his nose a loud blow. Allow to regain its breath. Blow a horse. A powerful stroke with the fist or a weapon. A blow on the head. Be blowing or storming. Burst suddenly. Cause air to go in, on, or through. Cause to be revealed and jeopardized. The double agent was blown by the other side. Cause to move by means of an air current. Exhale hard. Blow on the soup to cool it down. Free of obstruction by blowing air through. Blow one's nose. Lay eggs. Certain insects are said to blow. Make a sound as if blown. Play or sound a wind instrument. Shape by blowing. Sound by having air expelled through a tube. Spend lavishly or wastefully on. Spout moist air from the blowhole. A sudden happening that brings good fortune, as a sudden opportunity to make money. An especially rich vein of precious ore. A pole carrying an overhead microphone projected over a film or TV set. Make a resonant sound, like artillery. His deep voice boomed through the hall. Hit hard. A deep, prolonged, loud noise. Grow vigorously. Business is booming. A sudden happening that brings good fortune, as a sudden opportunity to make money. The demand for testing has created a boom for those in regulated laboratories where boxes of specimen jars are processed like an assembly line. Be the case that thunder is being heard. Make a deep hollow sound. Her voice booms out the words of the song. Any of various more or less horizontal spars or poles used to extend the foot of a sail or for handling cargo or in mooring. A state of economic prosperity. Tennis. A score consisting of winning a game when your opponent was serving. He was up 2 breaks in the second set. Breaking of hard tissue such as bone. The break seems to have been caused by a fall. Enter someone's virtual or real property in an unauthorized manner, usually with the intent to steal or commit a violent act. Be released or become known of news. Fail to agree with, be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. It was presented without commercial breaks. Lessen in force or effect. Break a fall. An escape from jail. The breakout was carefully planned. Interrupt a continued activity. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. Break into tears. Any frame in which a bowler fails to make a strike or spare. The break in the 8th frame cost him the match. Go to pieces. Ruin completely. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Break a law. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Do a break dance. Kids were break dancing at the street corner. Prevent completion. Break off the negotiations. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. Terminate. Break a lucky streak. Surpass in excellence. Break a record. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The act of breaking something. The breakage was unavoidable. Happen. Break down, literally or metaphorically. A pause from doing something, as work. We took a 10-minute break. Stop operating or functioning. Fracture a bone of. Reduce to bankruptcy. My daughter's fancy wedding is going to break me. Assign to a lower position. Reduce in rank. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. Break a piece from a whole. Break a branch from a tree. Make submissive, obedient, or useful. The horse was tough to break. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Move away or escape suddenly. Nobody can break out. This prison is high security. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. They hoped to avoid a break in relations. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. There was a break in the action when a player was hurt. Destroy the completeness of a set of related items. The book dealer would not break the set. Cease an action temporarily. Let's break for lunch. An unexpected piece of good luck. He finally got his big break. An abrupt change in the tone or register of the voice, as at puberty or due to emotion. Then there was a break in her voice. A sudden dash. He made a break for the open door. Be broken in. If the new teacher won't break, we'll add some stress. Become punctured or penetrated. Cause the failure or ruin of. This play will either make or break the playwright. Cause to give up a habit. Change direction suddenly. Change suddenly from one tone quality or register to another. Come forth or begin from a state of latency. Come into being. Come to an end. Crack. Of the male voice in puberty. His voice is breaking, he should no longer sing in the choir. Curl over and fall apart in surf or foam, of waves. Destroy the integrity of, usually by force, cause to separate into pieces or fragments. Diminish or discontinue abruptly. Emerge from the surface of a body of water. Exchange for smaller units of money. I had to break a $100 bill just to buy the candy. Fall sharply. Find a flaw in. Break an alibi. Find the solution or key to. Break the code. Give up. Break cigarette smoking. Happen or take place. Things have been breaking pretty well for us in the past few months. Interrupt the flow of current in. Break a circuit. Invalidate by judicial action. Make a rupture in the ranks of the enemy or one's own by quitting or fleeing. Make the opening shot that scatters the balls. Pierce or penetrate. Render inoperable or ineffective. Scatter or part. Separate from a clinch, in boxing. The occurrence of breaking. The break in the dam threatened the valley. The opening shot that scatters the balls in billiards or pool. Undergo breaking. Vary or interrupt a uniformity or continuity. Weaken or destroy in spirit or body. A sudden happening that brings good fortune, as a sudden opportunity to make money. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. A sudden intense happening. An outburst of heavy rain. Break open or apart suddenly and forcefully. The dam burst. Be in a state of movement or action. A sudden flurry of activity, often for no obvious reason. A burst of applause. Rapid simultaneous discharge of firearms. Burst outward, usually with noise. Cause to burst. The act of exploding or bursting. The burst of an atom bomb creates enormous radiation aloft. Come open suddenly and violently, as if from internal pressure. The bubble burst. Emerge suddenly. The sun burst into view. Move suddenly, energetically, or violently. He burst out of the house into the cool night. A specific size and style of type within a type family. An enveloping structure or covering enclosing an animal or plant organ or part. The enclosing frame around a door or window opening. A person of a specified kind, usually with many eccentricities. A mental case. Printing. The receptacle in which a compositor has his type, which is divided into compartments for the different letters, spaces, or numbers. For English, a compositor will ordinarily have two such cases, the uppercase containing the capitals and the lowercase containing the small letters. The quantity contained in a case. The housing or outer covering of something. The clock has a walnut case. Bed linen consisting of a cover for a pillow. The burglar carried his loot in a pillowcase. A special set of circumstances. It may rain, in which case the picnic will be cancelled. An occurrence of something. It was a case of bad judgment. Enclose in, or as if in, a case. My feet were encased in mud. Nouns or pronouns are adjectives, often marked by inflection, related in some way to other words in a sentence. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. A person who is subjected to experimental or other observational procedures. Someone who is an object of investigation. The cases that we studied were drawn from two different communities. A glass container used to store and display items in a shop or museum or home. A person requiring professional services. A typical case was the suburban housewife described by a marriage counselor. A portable container for carrying several objects. The musicians left their instrument cases backstage. A problem requiring investigation. Perry Mason solved the case of the missing heir. A specific state of mind that is temporary. A case of the jitters. A statement of facts and reasons used to support an argument. He stated his case clearly. Look over, usually with the intention to rob. They men cased the house. The actual state of things. That was not the case. Anything that happens suddenly or by chance without an apparent cause. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. An event or situation that happens at the same time as or in connection with another. The temporal property of two things happening at the same time. Suffer a nervous breakdown. The act of throwing yourself down. Break down, literally or metaphorically. The wall collapsed. An abrupt failure of function or complete physical exhaustion. A sudden large decline of business or the prices of stocks, especially one that causes additional failures. Cause to burst. Collapse due to fatigue, an illness, or a sudden attack. Fall apart. A natural event caused by something suddenly falling down or caving in. The roof is in danger of collapse. Fold or close up. Collapse the music stand. Lose significance, effectiveness, or value. The stock market collapsed. Computer science. The occurrence of an incorrect result produced by a computer. Event whose occurrence ends something. The proposition arrived at by logical reasoning, such as the proposition that must follow from the major and minor premises of a syllogism. The act of making up your mind about something. He drew his conclusions quickly. A position or opinion or judgment reached after consideration. His conclusion took the evidence into account. The act of ending something. The last section of a communication. In conclusion, I want to say. The temporal end, the concluding time. A final settlement. The conclusion of a business deal. An intuitive assumption. Jump to a conclusion. Occurring with or following as a consequence. An event or situation that happens at the same time as or in connection with another. A person who is in a position to give you special assistance. He used his business contacts to get an introduction to the governor. The physical coming together of two or more things. Contact with the pier scraped paint from the hull. A thin curved glass or plastic lens designed to fit over the cornea in order to correct vision or to deliver medication. Be in or establish communication with. He never contacted his children after he emigrated to Australia. A communicative interaction. The pilot made contact with the base. Be in direct physical contact with, make contact. The wire must not contact the metal cover. A channel for communication between groups. The act of touching physically. Her fingers came in contact with the light switch. Electronics. A junction where things, as two electrical conductors, touch or are in physical contact. They forget to solder the contacts. Close interaction. They kept in daily contact. The state or condition of touching or of being in immediate proximity. Litmus paper turns red on contact with an acid. A possible event or occurrence or result. A possible event or occurrence or result. The state of being contingent on something. A representation of common ground between theories or phenomena. The act of converging, coming closer. The approach of an infinite series to a finite limit. The occurrence of two or more things coming together.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.